Thank you very much for staying with us throughout RPG Escape 2020. This has been a fantastic afternoon, and not least because of the high quality and caliber of designers and information that they're willing to share with us today. One of those is with me right now, David Flor, game designer from Darklight Interactive, and community content producer who has posted a lot of, ridden the wave of popularity and success of the 5th edition. Really need for content, and you're posting a lot of things. Where can they find your content, your original content?
I'm published on Drive-Thru-RPG as well as...
And Dungeon Masters Guild also, right? So that's where... and you were a 2013 ENnie nominee for...
I think it was 13, yeah.
Save Off Manor.
I did a 4th edition, what they call a challenge adventure.
And this is great packaging, too, by the way.
That's... the 4th edition was nominated for a Kickstarter. I'm sorry, nominated for an ENnie. And I did the Kickstarter for the 5th edition.
And this is compatible. This is a new product right now. It's compatible for 5th edition.
It's been out for a year, I think, a little less.
And it's been 15 years now since you've been designing,
I've been
right?
Developing since the early days of 4th edition. As far as RPG publishing, early days of 4th edition.
Is it easier now or harder?
It is a lot easier now. 4th edition had a lot of issues regarding licensing, regarding fighting with what they call the GSL, the game system license. Back then I wasn't entirely aware of what I was doing, and as a result I tried publishing something that got a cease and desist order from Wizards of the Coast. I learned from that, and 5th edition right now with the resources that are out there and everything, it's a lot easier. Since it's an open system, it's also a lot easier.
And so what about the resources that you find as a designer?
Resources like D&D Beyond, as far as looking up.
It's supported, right? There's a lot of support for the end user.
There's a lot of support. I'm not an artist, and I have usually difficulty finding creative artists, so stock art is readily available, and other publishing resources are readily available. I find my editors a lot easier now. Twitter didn't exist 15 years ago,
right?
So I was kind of in my own bubble of publishing. I was literally on my own. Now I have access to people that can help me get the product out.
Do you find there are unique challenges to publishing material within somebody else's system versus designing your own?
It's not so much the system. It's usually you end up having problem with lore if you're trying to, like with D&D, if you're trying to publish something with the Forgotten Realms, you have to find a way to have your thing fit into
the established canon. Right. Sure, that's good. Which just helps the fan, but it's a challenge for the
right. And there aren't even limits to do that. There's only certain settings that you can publish for in the DM's Guild. As far as the system,
what settings are there?
Well, in the DM's Guild, you can publish for Forgotten Realms, for Ravenloft, Eberron, and I think that's it for now.
Who you which settings?
I've done. Usually the stuff that I publish is setting agnostic, because
so that you can use it for any.
So you can use it anywhere, and that's primarily just a personal choice, because since the last thing I published that was in a setting got cease and desisted, I'm kind of hesitant to do anything like that anymore.
Right, you were burned off on the... That's probably not a bad motif to operate by. And it also makes it more friendly for the end user, so that somebody doesn't have to...
They can insert it into
whether it's Gothic, high fantasy. What's the next thing for you?
I've got a few things next to me, time allowing. I'm actively working on a new RPG system, which is the setting is post-apocalyptic, kind of Gamma World meets Mad Max. And I'm creating...
That's got to be a very... a lot of resource, source-rich material to...
Yeah, there's a lot there, and I'm trying to make it as open-ended as possible. I am creating my own system just to have a little more artistic liberty in how I want the system to work. 5th edition is good in and of itself, but there are just some minor things that I tend to have a problem with, so I like to do it my own way. Beyond that, I'm still publishing adventures here and there. So I keep doing that. As ideas come up, I try to get them out there.
Creativity is a flower when it grows when it grows. You know.
Yeah. The big thing is for once I get an idea to actually sit down and start writing it, and once I start writing it, then it's a lot easier to get it out, and it just happens.
David Flor, thank you very much for taking part in the RPG Escape 2020, and thanks for joining us this afternoon.
It's been a pleasure.
To be continued.